We talked about a rental community. I think this is an important component. We talked about 240 units, of which all 240 units would count towards the affordable housing in Hopkinton. We're looking at something very similar to the depictions we see here, something more of a residential scale in its appearance. Again, depictions of townhomes, condominiums, earth tones, landscaping, something very much that we see today in Hopkinton. This is a development summary of the things we just went through. Again, limiting single-family homes to no more than 50, townhomes 325, simplex, duplex 325. The rental community, again, we spoke of 240 units. The village, which would include the square footage, by the way, of Western Nurseries, not to exceed 150,000 square feet. The East Main Street commercial, which, by the way, would only have access from East Main Street. I've heard some rumors that maybe some of this could be fronted on Clinton Street. It would not have access from Clinton Street, nor would it have anything facing Clinton Street. And Legacy Park Commercial, which would be on the north side off of Wilson Street. Some of the OSMUD and Legacy Farms benefits, again, significant positive tax revenue. Depending on which numbers one looks at, we're looking anywhere between $2.2 and $3.5 million on an annualized basis of net positive tax revenue to Hopkinton. We're looking at building permit fees that are in excess of $2.4 million that would be paid over the life of the project to the community of Hopkinton. 500 acres, again, we say, of open space, 19 acres dedicated for playing fields, 21 acres on Wilson Street for potential municipal uses. Again, as was mentioned earlier, up to $500,000 towards an East Hopkinton public safety or substation if the town so chooses. Again, $500,000 potentially for the school systems if we exceed the number of school children as per the agreements, and another $270,000 above and beyond that number if we should go exceed our numbers by 30 students. That $270,000, by the way, would be for each unit of 30 students if that were to be the case. Again, I've been hearing that, gee, you know, they've signed the HCA and it recommends some things that might be traffic mitigation improvements, but who's going to pay for all the rest of those? I think it's important to bring up right now that one of the early things we talked about in negotiating the HCA, if we should pass zoning this evening, we would immediately, prior to a master plan special permit or any other processes, start working with the DPW in designing and implementing the installation of a smart traffic light system downtown so it would immediately positively affect the flow of traffic in the downtown area. That's something we would start working on immediately. The creation of the Spine Road, again, these are all to be paid for by us. The creation of the Spine Road, which I saw some pieces this evening that suggested that possibly 5% of the traffic would be using that. Our engineers will tell you it will be a significantly larger number than that 5%. Off-site transportation mitigation, again, this is something that would be part of the special permit process, but VHB, working very closely with FST, the town's traffic consultants, have a laundry list of traffic mitigation and suggested things that should be done that very well could be well in excess, above and beyond what we're talking about here, well in excess over time of improvements that would add to the flow of traffic in town, well in excess of $1 million, again, fully paid for by us. Let's be clear, any mitigation, any traffic improvements relative to Legacy Farms would not be the burden of the taxpayers of Hopkinton. It would fully be the burden of our development and ourselves. Again, an important feature and one of the reasons why there is such positive tax revenue, other than the Spine Road, all the roads in our development would be private, which means they're privately paid for sanding, plowing, cleanup, repairs, everything. Again, we talked about relocation of pedestrian crosswalks at various intersections on West Main and Wood Street. Pedestrian walkway, this is an important feature that was brought up late in the process. It was decided it was very important to have a walkway connecting downtown, which I believe now stops at Ray Street, and continue along all the way to our development. And that's something we've agreed to work with the planning board in implementing as part of the process. Additional items to be paid for by the development of the Aprilla Farm wells and the off-site water distribution system. We've agreed, working with the DPW and the various boards in town, to work on the design of this well system. EarthTech did some very early work for the town, and the preliminary indications are the significant water resources there, which again we will confirm at our expense. And assuming that there is sufficient water there, we will develop the well system for the benefit of the town. We will tie in that end of town, the Front Street area, Clinton Street area. Right now it's a dead-ended system. Not only will it add additional capacity, but it will loop the system in that end of town, making it a much better flowing system for the community as a whole. There's been discussion about the preservation of antique homes that we have acquired. We've agreed to do that, an important feature I know that the Historical Commission was anxious to make sure happened. The development will be based on low-impact design and construction, which today is a very important feature. The way one designs swales, the one designs the landscape, the road systems, to make sure it's much more environmentally friendly. Again, the important feature of the affordable housing and the 240 units, today I believe your affordable numbers are roughly 3.2%. This will automatically take you well above 8% in your affordable numbers and make the town far less susceptible to 40B development. Sasaki, as well spoke of earlier. Sasaki, again, a world-renowned, not only landscape or architectural firm, they do master planning worldwide. Very respected firm. We're also in the landscape architectural business, so we fully appreciate and understand the quality of the firm you engaged. And we were quite intrigued to sit in that process probably for close to a year. Sasaki came out with a report, as I had mentioned, which was important to us, that we made sure that we followed the letter of the law in terms of what the intent of that report was. And once we finished our plans, before we frankly even submitted them to the town, we sat down with Fred Merrill and his team at Sasaki. Guys, are we going in the right direction? Are we doing the right thing? And we got the preliminary nod that seemed to be going the right way, so we continued on. And we were very pleased to see that recently Sasaki Associates had submitted a report to the planning board and the town as a whole endorsing the plan. And Sasaki can definitively state that the Legacy Farms concept plan meets and should achieve the town's planning goals. And I won't read all of it to you, but I think it's important to read the last paragraph. Legacy Farms is an opportunity for the town of Hopkinton to take a leadership role in the planning, design, and implementation of a sustainable master plan community that is socially, economically, and environmentally sustainable. So we're pleased to get that. We hope that you feel that this is something you can support. And again, I want to thank you all for being here this evening. It's a great turnout. This is a very active community, I found out, in terms of local politics and getting involved in things. And I think that's very, very important. I'd like to stand here this evening and ask you for your vote, please, on this OSMUD. I do feel it's the best thing for the community. I think it's the best thing for the land. And I think it's, frankly, not to be over the top with it. I think it, frankly, is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to do something with this parcel of land that we feel. We didn't choose the name Legacy Farms just because we thought it sounded nice. We spent some time with the Mezzets, who we've known for over 30 years. We looked at the legacy of their family in this community, the legacy of Western Nurseries, the legacy of the town itself in farming, the legacy of the Marathon. And I'll be honest with you, we looked at the legacy of our own company. We're a very small firm, but we work hard, and we look at this as a tremendous legacy that we feel we can leave here, something that we can be proud of, and we hope you can be proud of also. Thank you very much.
From the Hopkinton Citizens Association, Chris Berry.